with both boxing fans and experts excitedly speculating on what would be one of the most historic matchups in the sport's history. The possible fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has ignited the boxing world. Numerous viewpoints have been generated by this intriguing bout, and one of the most intriguing is from Floyd Mayweather, who has sparred with Alvarez in the past and has been closely following Crawford's rise. Mayweather provides invaluable insights into the dynamics of a fight of this nature. Mayweather, whose name is linked with boxing prowess, adds a distinct perspective to the conversation and notices subtleties that others overlook. Given his lengthy history with Canelo, Mayweather's perspective on the bout is particularly noteworthy. Canelo was a rising star with an undefeated record and all the makings of a future champion when Mayweather and Alvarez faced off in 2013. However, Mayweather outboxed the young fighter with his unmatched defensive skill, winning by majority decision while highlighting some of Alvarez's weaknesses. Even though Canelo has improved a lot since that bout, many people are still curious about how he would perform against someone with Terence Crawford's level of technical expertise. A multi-division world champion and a strong force in the sport, Canelo Alvarez has developed into an experienced boxer with a solid record in a variety of weight divisions. His ascent through the ranks has been characterized by impressive victories, especially his triumphs in the light heavyweight class, where he demonstrated his capacity to contend with opponents much bigger than himself. In his prime, he was practically unstoppable because to his devastating power, especially his left hook and body punches, as well as his endurance and exceptional capacity to withstand punishment. But as he describes how a technical fighter like Crawford may pose a serious threat to Canelo, Mayweather's skill at analyzing an opponent's advantages and disadvantages comes through. With a boxing IQ that surpasses that of some of the best fighters in history, Crawford is a master of both offense and defense. One of the most dangerous and unpredictable boxers in the game today, he can surprise and frustrate his opponents with his lightning-fast reactions and ability to flip between orthodox and southpaw stances mid-fight. It's a matchup of sheer skill and boxing knowledge because both Canelo and Crawford are renowned for their amazing ability to read their opponents, despite their different fighting styles. Crawford has failed to establish himself in heavier weight divisions, despite his dominance in the welterweight division. This raises an important question. Can Crawford's remarkable technical technique hold up against Canelo's size and power advantage, particularly in the latter rounds when exhaustion starts to play a role? Perhaps the most obvious barrier to this possible bout is the size difference between the two boxers. Although Crawford has fought and destroyed some of the greatest in his class at his natural weight of 147 pounds, it would be difficult to move up to take on Canelo, who has fought as heavy as 175 pounds. When facing a fighter who is renowned for his physicality and knockout power at higher weight classes, the question becomes whether Crawford's quickness and technical skill can compensate for the weight disadvantage. Canelo, who has repeatedly shown that he is capable of handling larger opponents, has established a reputation for himself by using unrelenting pressure to wear down his opponents, devastating body shots to breach their defenses, and setting up potent knockout punches. His success has mostly come from his ability to fight at a speed that weakens even the most resilient opponents. Crawford would need to figure out how to counter that. Both warriors would have to adjust in real time to counter the other's advantages, making the battle a true test of strategy and stamina. Mayweather has been very outspoken about how this fight would be affected by size and power. He highlights that Canelo's physicality and his background dealing with larger opponents would give him a major edge, even as he commends Crawford for his technical mastery and skill. Despite his indisputable talent, Crawford has never had to contend with a rival who is as technically competent as he is in terms of strength and speed. However, Mayweather says Crawford may have the advantage in some situations due to his ability to outsmart his opponents, particularly if he can stay out of Canelo's big blows. The contrast of styles is one of the most intriguing features of this possible battle. A thrilling show would result from Canelo's constant pressure and Crawford's deft movement and counterpunches. Would Crawford's evasive movement and skill at countering effectively delay Alvarez and create opportunities, or would Canelo's strength be sufficient to bridge the distance and land hard shots? Both offensive and defensive skill would be put to the test during the battle. Canelo, who has frequently used his strength to overwhelm opponents, would find Crawford a dangerous opponent due to his excellent ring IQ, fast reflexes, and capacity for mid-fight adjustments. There is a lot of disagreement over the fight's potential conclusion, with many boxing pundits, trainers, and even other competitors making their own predictions. While some contend that Canelo's size advantage and experience fighting at the highest levels would prove too much, others think Crawford's new legs and technical skill might make him the favorite. Unexpectedly, Jake Paul has put his support behind Crawford, arguing that his quickness and sharper talents would give him an advantage. However, because of the stark disparity in size and strength, prominent individuals like Eddie Hearn have voiced their belief that Canelo can defeat Crawford. Without a doubt, this match would revolutionize boxing if it were to ever take place. Such a fight would have enormous ramifications, as Canelo might establish himself as the best boxer of his time and further reinforce his reputation in the sport. Crawford would join the ranks of boxing greats who have dominated numerous weight divisions and cement his status as one of the greatest to ever do it with a victory over Canelo. Two titans would square off in this contest of styles: strength versus skill, experience versus youth, and intelligence versus brute force. Without a question, a victory for either boxer would permanently affect their careers and the boxing scene. The fans will be on the edge of their seats, expecting what may be one of the best fights in recent boxing history, and the stakes couldn't be greater. Crawford sees it as an opportunity to establish himself as a genuine all-time great who can win any division, not just as a dominant welterweight. For Canelo, it's a chance to demonstrate that, despite facing the most up-and-coming and dangerous opponent in years, he is still the boxing king and that his dominance transcends weight classes. This fight has a lot of potential, and regardless of the result, it will undoubtedly be a spectacle that future generations will remember. Global boxing enthusiasts are already discussing the potential outcomes, making predictions about each fighter's strategy, and weighing the advantages and disadvantages of each man. The entire boxing world would be closely observing, eager to see who wins this historic bout, and it would be a turning point in the sport's history if it did. The battle may or may not actually happen, but the excitement and expectation are already building to a fever pitch. It's going to be a bout like no other, and it might influence boxing for years to come.